Hello everyone in the Secrets to Sleep Baby and Toddler Sleep Help group. My name is Courtney. I am your host. I am a pediatric sleep consultant and I'm here to help families get a great night of sleep. I hope everyone is having a really awesome summer. I'm outside right now because my son is home all summer. He's inside and it's been a little bit more difficult to record lives and those sort of things, so you've seen me less. I've also cut down my hours a little bit, but here's one topic I wanted to just chat about because I was chatting with another mom on a sleep strategy call today. Okay, the one skill that our babies and our toddlers really need in order to be awesome sleepers is the ability to self-settle. I feel like you've probably heard of this before, but the ability for a child, a baby or a toddler, to fall asleep without what I call is parental help. So this doesn't necessarily mean fall asleep in their own crib. It could be a co-sleeping family, it could be a crib family. Either is okay, but the ability to self-settle is absolutely key in order for our children to be awesome sleepers. Okay, one way I describe it is that at some point in time, our children learn how to, roll over. Our children learn how to stand. These are skills that they learn at some point in time, right? And the ability to self-settle or fall asleep independently without help is something that our children will learn, at some point in time. But if there's a habit in place that's preventing them from learning this skill, for example, when they were a newborn, maybe they had some feeding challenges, maybe you had a really rough time getting them to sleep because they were struggling, and then you got into this habit of rocking them to sleep, super common. Another one is, feeding, it could be, I'll use breastfeeding as an example, but it could be bottle feeding as well. You got a baby that just loved to breastfeed a lot. This is so good. And then they start to develop this habit of using this sucking motion in order to fall asleep. So they weren't just using it just for nutrients or just for comfort, but they used it to fall asleep, and it developed this very specific, I call it a sleep habit. There are things that are sleep habits. People tell me all the time, like, oh, my baby needs to breastfeed in the night for comfort. It's actually not about comfort. It's a very specific sleep habit. Your baby is breastfeeding in the night because your baby cannot fall asleep independently. Your baby really feels like they need this sucking motion in order to fall asleep, okay? So this is what this is about. So this is why I'm such a huge fan of using proven strategies to help our babies and toddlers fall asleep independently. The word we use is self-settle. Okay, I'm such a fan of babies and toddlers learning to self-settle because this is absolute key. There is not one family that I have worked with, to put a plan in place without doing some sort of a process in order for kids to self-settle, because that is the key. They need to learn how to self-settle in order for them to fall asleep well. Because it's not just about falling asleep when we put them into bed at night. Often I'll tell them, I put my kid into bed and they fall asleep and life is great until they wake up 100 times in the night, And that's it's completely related. It's because they need to learn how to fall asleep independently so that when they hit the light point in their sleep and their body starts to wake them up, as we do as humans, okay, we all have light points in our sleep. We all in the middle of the night might roll over, throw a blanket off if we're too hot, and go back to sleep on our own. This is a skill that you and I have learned at some point in time. So if our babies and our toddlers don't know how to do this skill, it means that once they hit that light point in their sleep, they're totally awake and they're like, Mom, crying or whatever way they do to signal you to help them because they need help falling back asleep. So this is where I'm such a huge fan, whether it's a baby or a toddler that's waking up in the night. For toddlers, there's more reasons why. For babies, rocking, motion, sucking, some of these things are all pretty similar. And then for toddlers, there's a plethora of other reasons because toddlers are super smart, right? They have more, we call them psychological reasons. They have more, a greater understanding of things that can cause them to, separation anxiety. That's going to be the thing to cause the wake-ups in the night, right? So, yeah, self-settling equals good sleepers. So this is where I'm like, if you want to join a program in order to have a really great sleeper, that's what we would do. You would come, we would talk about a strategy that we can put in place for your little one to learn how to fall asleep without your help. So that maybe it's your toddler who wakes up, every 2 hours in the night, and your toddler just wants you there. They just want you to just sit in the room and they just feel like they really need that in order to fall asleep. The best way to describe it is that they don't actually need you in order to fall asleep. What they need is to learn and feel comfortable falling asleep without you present. And it's very distinct. We don't want to use like a harsh method and like slam the door and walk away, because there's real separation anxiety here that needs to be worked on. And this is why I really love gradual methods. Like, let's put a plan in place to help your toddler, you know, learn how to feel more comfortable falling asleep a little bit more without you there, so that when your toddler wakes up in the middle of the night, that he or she feels super confident and content in his or her own, you know, room or whatever it is, that, you know, he can wake up and look around and be like, okay, yeah, this is all good. I'm cool with this. Roll over and fall back asleep. Okay, and the same goes with babies. You know, maybe it's they want to be rocked back to sleep. Maybe they want to be fed back to sleep. We want them to wake up in the night and look around the room and kind of be like, okay, yeah, that's okay. I'm in my room. I'm in my bed. Life is good. You know, all is well, and roll over and fall back asleep without being like, oh yeah, I really do need that breast. I need that sucking motion to fall asleep. Okay, that's what it's all about. So I'm a huge fan of putting proven strategies in place, because to me, really awesome sleeping, you know, babies and toddlers is the norm. It's not like this anomaly, okay? The families that I work with, they have really awesome sleepers in the end, because these amazing parents have put hard work in, you know, 3 weeks of hard work, put it in place, put a proven strategy in place to make sure that we're progressively working towards something that's going to stop the night wake-ups, instead of kind of just, I don't know, they feel like they need me in the room, so I just go and I just wait until they fall asleep, and I'm just waiting for it to stop. Even though we're doing the same thing every night, I'm just gonna wait. Hopefully one day it'll stop. It's like, no, we actually need to put some sort of a boundary in place. We have to put a strategy in place. We have to make some sort of a change so that our toddler can start to feel a little bit more comfortable with us less in the room. If we just go in the room and we give our toddler the exact thing that they want, there's not going to be a change. In the same sense, if we just slam the door and we walk away, like, that's not going to change this real separation anxiety that they have. Okay, so I hope that this is helpful information for everyone. I want you to send me a DM, free sleep strategy call, if you want to get on a call, and we can talk about, you know, a plan that would make sense for you and how we can work together to accomplish it. Okay, I know that these are, you know, challenges. They're very real and they're not easy to navigate, but this is what I do. I help families navigate these sleep challenges so that you can have an awesome sleeper in the end and you can enjoy the rest of your summer. Okay, thanks everyone. Send me that DM. I'm so excited. And any questions, feel free to post below. Bye.